morning, everyone. First, I want to congratulate all the winners from last night's primaries in New York, Utah, and Maryland. Democrats are one step closer to taking back the majority in November. And I can tell you, when we finally have the gavels in our hands, we won't be focused on ballrooms, algae-filled reflecting pools, golden arches, or UFC fights. Instead, unlike Republicans, Democrats will be laser-focused on making America more affordable. Let's take a moment to reflect. Republicans have been in charge for 18 months, and what do they have to show for it? A big ugly bill that ripped health care and food assistance away from families just to pay for tax cuts for billionaires and corporations. Tariffs that have driven up costs for consumers and small businesses. Violent mass deportations that have upended American communities. And a failed war in Iran that has driven up the price of gas and groceries. This isn't a successful governing record, it's a record of broken promises. This is a House Republican majority that will be remembered for the incredible damage that they have done to our economy, driven by misplaced priorities and blind loyalty to Donald Trump. The American people sent Republicans to Washington for one clear reason: to lower the high cost of living. But in return, what did they get? They got a president who says he doesn't think about Americans' financial situation and that he loves inflation, and a corrupt administration that is profiting off the presidency while working people struggle to make ends meet. These aren't just bad policies. This is a refusal to put American workers first. And while House Republicans ignore Americans' kitchen table concerns, Democrats are facing them head on and will do everything we can in our power to tackle the cost of living crisis that Republicans have created. It's now my honor to introduce the Vice Chair of the Democratic Caucus, Ted Lieu.
Thank you, Chairman Aguilar. Inflation is up, grocery prices are up, utility costs are up, housing prices are up. We have a bipartisan housing bill that both the Congress and Senate passed. There was supposed to be a big signing ceremony today in the Capitol, and then all of a sudden, Donald Trump decides he's not coming to sign the bill. Well, why is that? Did he wake up on the wrong side of the bed? Is he unable to stay awake today? What's causing him to chicken out again? Is it Taco Wednesday? Or is it side effects from a drug? We don't know. This erratic behavior of the president is very concerning. He has trouble staying awake at multiple White House events and cabinet meetings. He has clearly some weakness in one of his arms. He's got swelling in his hands. And the White House needs to come clean. What we know is there's a report saying that one person in America got this special new drug. It was a 79-year-old person who's very high profile, and this drug can only be given to someone under the compassionate use provision, meaning you do that if someone basically has a terminal illness. So we need to know, did Donald Trump get this special drug from Eli Lilly, and did he get it under that provision? And if he did, why is that the case? The White House needs to come clean and tell the American people about Donald Trump's health. Now it is my great honor to introduce our Field General, the great Susan Bennett from the state of Washington, the chair of the DCCC.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone, and many thanks to Chair Aguilar and Vice Chair Lieu. Today in caucus, we gave an update on the work being done to take back the majority in November. We started with a conversation about how the data reveals one emerging consensus from the public. The American people are souring on Republicans' broken promises, and they are ready, eager, in fact, to reject them in November. House Democrats are consistently ahead on the generic congressional ballot on the issues that voters cite as top priorities: inflation, cost of living, healthcare. Donald Trump and House Republicans are underwater, and our voters are motivated. In a recent analysis by 2026 House primary elections done by the Washington Post, they found that Democratic turnout has dwarfed Republican primary turnout by more than 4 million votes. This was true whether the primaries were competitive or not, in toss-ups or deep red seats. And the higher turnout numbers are pacing well ahead of 2018. It's clear that we're on track to win in November, and Republicans know it. It's why, and really the only reason why, they're going to such desperate, awful lengths to rig the midterms in their favor. Their push for new gerrymandered maps, despite the fact that the American people across the country hate it. Their attempts to block legal, proven, and secure forms of voting, like vote by mail. Their incredibly cynical attempts to meddle in Democratic primaries, spending at least $4.5 million so far. They're doing all of this because of one simple fact. Republicans know they can't win a free and fair election. Despite all the shenanigans and Republican dirty tricks, the American people are seeing through it, and they are rejecting it. They aren't just rejecting Republicans, they are choosing Democrats, as the Washington Post analysis shows. Part of how we're going to win in November is the contrast our candidates are creating on the campaign trail every day, and that starts with holding Republicans accountable for the big ugly bill. Next week will be 1 year since that awful bill was signed into law, and in that time, Americans have begun to feel the pain from it. 5 million people have lost their health care already. More than 770,000 children have had food assistance ripped away from them. Rural hospitals have closed or cut critical services. While the wealthiest few saw massive tax breaks on April 15th, hard-working families did not. It's no wonder that the big ugly bill has become one of the least popular pieces of legislation in recent history. Every vulnerable House Republican voted for this monstrosity, and we're going to make sure that every voter knows it when they cast their ballot. From roundtables, rallies, visits to food pantries, and ads, Democrats are taking the message to the people throughout this summer. And unlike House Republicans who have been hiding from their communities all cycle, House Democrats are talking directly to the American people. Democrats are in the strongest position yet to retake the majority this fall, and come next year, we will have the gavels and be in control of the House. Thank you all for joining us today, and I'm going to turn it back to Chairman Aguilar.
Questions? Max and Andrew?
Thanks. Obviously, we saw Adriano Espaillat lose election last night. Dan Goldman, 2 incumbents, members of the Democratic caucus. Mayor Mamdani and DSA groups head back to the challengers who will be coming to Congress. Can you talk about the dynamic here, what the New York City mayor is doing attacking members of your own caucus, and what is your message to Mayor Mamdani after the election results last night?
But look, the mayor of New York doesn't get a vote in the Democratic caucus. The members who are elected get those votes, and we look forward to working with the members that New York elects to serve in the Democratic caucus. But the path to 218 isn't through those districts that the mayor endorsed it. And the path to 218 and to Democrats getting rid of the chaos and the insanity that we see is through districts like New York 17, where Kate Conley got through her primary and is going to beat Lawler. I mean, that's what this is about. I understand the interest, believe us. You know, we understand the interest about these races, but our focus, our agenda is 218, and nothing that the mayor did helps or hurts us getting to that number. These are members who are going to be in the Democratic caucus. These are members who are going to help us turn back these terrible policies, and that's what we look forward to. But I'll just take a quick minute Dan Goldman and Adriano Espaillat are just 2 incredibly great colleagues and class acts. I've had the pleasure to serve with both of them. Adriano, the first formerly undocumented individual to serve in Congress, the only Dominican American in Congress right now. Dan Goldman led the Trump impeachment in his prior life. A proven fighter. I've campaigned with both of them. Great individuals, and this Congress and this caucus will miss them. And we look forward to welcoming the members of the New York caucus and delegation who will serve with us in the next Congress. Anything else?
No, Kate Conley.
Andrew?
Yeah, just to follow up on that, some of these men, like Daria-Lisa Villa Chevalier, who beat Adriano Espaillat, she attended an anti-Israel rally on October 8th, 2023. A lot of other people, Claire Valdez, Chris Robb, Adam Holloway, a lot of candidates in that mold winning primaries, probably going to be here next year. Are you going to have a conversation with those members about what it's like to work in the Democratic caucus? Do you anticipate any governance challenges, having to work with people that outspoken and that far from where other members are on the ideological spectrum?
No, we'll have conversations with every member. As members of Democratic leadership, the three of us up here, as well as every member of the Democratic leadership team, will have conversations with our new members. They'll go through new member orientation. We'll talk with them about how to build their offices. We'll talk with them about the work-life balance of doing these jobs. We'll have all of those conversations with these new members. It will be nothing special. We'll talk with them about their hopes and their aspirations to represent their districts and what committees they want to serve on. All of those conversations are what we do for new members. And this group, this class of new members will be no different in that respect. We'll continue to have conversations and build relationships, with them. I want them to be successful for their constituents. And so I want to know what they need in order to make that happen. Some of them have said things that I disagree with in the past. And the mayor himself has said that some of these candidates have evolved in their views. We take them at face value, and we look forward to building a relationship. This being day zero, day one, and having a positive relationship and working to help them help the state and the city of New York moving forward. Mike?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I want to go back to the housing bill. The press secretary, Caroline Levitt, said last night about the bill that it's, quote, one of the most significant pieces of housing affordability legislation in American history, unquote. The president said on Truth Social when he canceled the signing ceremony that it is minor importance.
Minor importance.
Every single House Democrat voted for the bill yesterday. It passed overwhelmingly, 85-5 in the Senate. Can you speak to the American people about, one, why you believe every House Democrat supported this piece of legislation? Two, how do you square what the press secretary said last night about it being one of the most significant pieces of legislation, and the president saying it's of minor importance this morning, an hour before he was set to sign it? How do you square all of that for the American people who went to sleep last night expecting this bill to be signed into law and now are hearing from you all that the president's not going to sign it? How do you square that for the American people?
Well, I mean, these posters and the president's words kind of speak for themselves. He doesn't care about their financial situation. That's the answer. And it's very clear that his press secretary doesn't speak for him. She's making stuff up on the fly and clearly is detached from what he is thinking about policy and legislation. And I don't know if that's because of what the vice chair said and his inability to stay awake in meetings, or if he just changes and doesn't tell anybody his viewpoints. But it's clear he doesn't care about the American public. It's clear he doesn't care about the costs that people are facing. This is a significant piece of housing legislation. Every House Democrat voted for it, as you mentioned. Every Senate Democrat voted for it. The only no votes were from House and Senate Republicans. This is something that will move the needle in an affordability way for housing. It is one small piece, and Democrats have a variety of ideas and policies that will also help. But this was one piece, and it also shows that we're willing to take a win for the American people. We don't want to play politics and punt. We want to take the win for the American people and drive down the costs of housing and make it easier for people to live in this country.
Thank you. I have a question for Chairwoman Dilbane.
These are my favorite questions.
Can you walk me through how D-TRIP has looked to protect incumbents like Goldman and Espaillat? I know that the D-TRIP has become involved in Democratic primaries that are happening in currently Republican districts, but how involved is the DCCC in primaries where incumbents are being challenged in these districts that are in these districts that are safely Democratic?
Our focus is on the districts that get us the majority, so our map is these purple districts across the country, and that is our focus. Clearly, as a caucus, and other members of the caucus have been involved in other races, but from a DCCC perspective, our big focus in New York is New York 17 and making sure we have a great candidate there, and we do with Kate Conley, and another seat that we will win and help us take back the majority. And we also saw Ben McAdams win in Utah, and so excited to see him come through the primary and on his path to come join us next Congress.
Because we have seen several incumbents lose to Democratic Socialists, does this signal a shift in the party? And are you concerned that this plays into the rhetoric of the president saying that Democrats are too extreme?
No, not at all. I think that this represents a shift of what the voters in a couple of these districts around the country view. But we understand that much of that is based on their frustration and anxiety and the economic uncertainty that people face. And voters are going to take it out in different ways. We have also seen under the DCCC's leadership, Democrats in special elections over the past 12 months have outperformed Republicans by 13 points. So significant growth, so this doesn't have anything to do with Democratic voters. In essence, you know, this is a recoil against Trump and Trump policies, but voters have that ability to make those decisions in Democratic primaries, and we'll work with whoever that they send. In the back.
I mean, with these wins that we saw in New York, you know, Mamdani saw significant wins with his three candidates he endorsed. I mean, just nationwide, do you think the Democratic Socialist movement is going to spread to other sectors of the map?
No, the Vice Chair and I are from California. There are Democratic Socialists who run for city council races and races in Congress as well. People have a right to vote. That is our democratic system. I don't take anything more from it. The mayor made some decisions and made some political calculations. Those individuals will come and they'll serve here in the Democratic caucus, and they will be part of us getting to 218 votes to win the majority. That's our focus, and that has been our mission since Republicans took control and since Republicans took health care away from millions of people just to give benefits to billionaires and corporations. And that's what we'll continue to focus on, and I think that everybody who caucuses on the Democratic side believes in that and will vote accordingly on January 3rd. Thank you so much.
Thank you.